Let's cruise. Hi and welcome to KiChats this week. Today we are talking with Tom Cronin from the Science of Stillness around meditation and the benefits of that towards anxiety and depression. Now Tom, you yourself have suffered from anxiety and depression at some point. I myself, I know, have been a bit of an anxious bunny in the past. So how is it that meditation can help to bring stillness about?
Well, first of all, what we do is we look at anxiety and depression and see what it is. And really, it's a beautiful mechanism that our body has in letting us know that there's an imbalance. So anything other than bliss, joy, happiness, vitality, anything other than that really is a message from our body that there's something that needs to change here. There's something that's actually imbalanced. So we need to tend to that. It's like that little red light that comes on the dashboard, and it lets you know that there's something that we need to look into. And so the anxiety and depression is a cue that something needs to change in the way you're living your life. And it's not something that we need to live with for the rest of our life. It's just something that is letting us know that we need to assist in some form of change. And so for me, I suffered with anxiety and depression for quite a few years, and I was very stubborn and resistant to embracing any change. And so what I eventually did was, after it became sort of a choiceless situation where it became so bad that I had to do something, what I did was I started meditating, and that had an immediate effect on alleviating those symptoms.
Right.
So anxiety and depression is this imbalance that we have, and it stems from this parasympathetic nervous system situation and sympathetic nervous situation. So the body has these two mechanisms where we're either in sympathetic nervous system or parasympathetic nervous system, depending on the need of the time. Sympathetic nervous system is something that the body kicks into when it's in a situation of danger. And, it's a great mechanism that we have that allows us to run from a saber-toothed tiger or fight a marauding tribe, and we start to coagulate our blood, and we change our red and white blood cell count, and we start to store fat cells because we might be running for a few days and not be able to eat. We don't produce any melatonin because it's not a time to be sleeping if you're about to have a fight. We don't produce oxytocin, that beautiful biochemical that helps us feel love, because if you're about to stab someone, we don't want you hugging them at the same time.
Why not, Tom?
Why not? And we don't produce serotonin either, which is that biochemical of feeling happy. What we do produce is cortisol and norepinephrine and adrenaline, and these are these body-enhancing biochemicals that allow us to get out of a really tricky situation fast. The problem is, in our society, is that we're in sympathetic nervous system mode a lot of the time. We're running late for meetings, we have deadlines, we have an altercation with a member of our family or a work colleague. We're constantly putting ourselves into a sympathetic nervous system situation when really it's not required, it's not appropriate. And sympathetic nervous system is fight-flight. Parasympathetic nervous system is rest and digest. Rest and digest is when we start to repair, we re-nourish ourselves, we re-nurture ourselves, and we restore balance back into our well-being. And that's when we start to produce the oxytocin, the melatonin, the serotonin, these biochemicals that help us feel calm, relaxed, and feel lots of vitality and love. Meditation has been proven that in that deep level of rest that we experience, we switch over from sympathetic into parasympathetic nervous system, and we start to restore all this balance on a biochemical level. And really, for me, it was quite immediate in how quickly my body went from being very devoid of these wonderful biochemicals of serotonin and oxytocin, and how quickly I started to experience levels of happiness and calm and peace. And it's really quite scientific, and it's all beautifully designed as a mechanism within our physiology.
Definitely.
But it's just that we're not relating to certain situations how we possibly could be, and that's where meditation really helps us see those situations in a different way.
Yeah, I guess too, like with anxiety especially, again, like there's that projection of, I'm running late for this, or, I've got to get Billy off to school or pick somebody up and take them here, and I've got that meeting then at 5 o'clock, and then, then there's dinner, and then, so you get this compounding snowball effect of stresses that kind of, exactly that, they just keep on rolling and snowballing and, adding to anxiety, adding to stress. People can I guess, look at different ways of trying to deal with that stress, such as drugs, alcohol, more coffee, which just adds to the anxiety. But are you saying then that meditation is a way to cap that and bring that back down naturally?
What it does is it removes that response. So stress is not a situation. Stress is a response that we have to particular demands based upon the state of the nervous system and the state of the consciousness of the person that enters into that response. And for me, many years ago, leaving the house was too overwhelming a situation for me. My response to that demand was one of overwhelm. And that's what we call agoraphobia. And that's just because my nervous system was shot to pieces because of what I was putting it through. I just had this very distorted rest versus demand situation in my life. And so when I started to bring more rest back into my life through the meditation practice, I started to have less of that stress response to those demands. And, these days I'm probably 50 million times busier than I was back then, but I don't have that stress response. I go about each stage of my day incrementally without worrying about whether I'm going to get it done in the future, without worrying whether I did it well in the past. Just being present and just allowing myself to move through each situation with greater consciousness, greater use of my brain and adaptability and creativity, and to effortlessly take on those demands very easily.
I guess that's where the ability to cope with stress kind of lends itself to reducing your anxiety and clearing up the depression as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Tom, thank you so very, very much for joining us this week for KiChats. We look forward to having you back again next week. It's been great.
It's been great to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tom. Bye.